I started riding when I was 4. I was literally raised by a pack of dirty bikers. I had a lot of different bikes between the age of 4 and 12, went through a lot of mopeds. So yeah, it started at a young age. My dad started riding when he was 16. He got the majority of his family into riding, including his mom. So my grandma rode. And my grandma got her sister into riding. And my mother also rode. My parents are both ex-military, and they've always rode. And so it's always just been part of life. I can't really imagine my life without motorcycles. My whole life I rode with my dad, started off riding, on the tanks and, But the first time I actually got to ride a street bike by myself, I was 14. And my dad had this 1970-something shovel head. He had it set up as a suicidal hand jammer, so it shifted underneath your leg. Grown men were afraid of this motorcycle. My dad would take it to bars and he would dare dudes to ride it, or even try to start it. It was kickstart, obviously. And so of course, my dad, being the dirty biker that he was like, hey, you know what? Let's put my only child on that bike. My 14-year-old daughter. I was like, okay. I've been riding on the back of it for long enough. And so he takes me out into the middle of nowhere. We started off, the road was like a T, and then we were like at the intersection facing the long stretch. My dad gets off the bike and kept it running, and he's like, all right, just take it down the road a mile or two, do a U-turn, and come back. And it was just a 2-lane country road. I had irrigation ditches on both sides of the road. So of course I'm nervous as hell, trying to do a U-turn and not drop the bike. And I ended up stalling it. I had gone way further than a mile or two. The bike wasn't happy unless it was screaming. So by the time I got into 4th gear, it finally felt good. You're constantly like changing gears and stuff. And I finally got into 4th gear. I was like, this is awesome. And I was like, okay, now I got a downshift turn. And like I said, I ended up stalling it. So I pushed it off to the side of the road. I start kicking it, and I'm kicking it, and I'm kicking it for like ever. I wasn't able to see my dad down at the end of the road, and all of a sudden I see this little speck in the heat waves. Dad has started walking towards me. Some dude in a big truck rolls by and he's like, hey, Missy, you need some help? I'm like, fuck no, I don't need any help. And I'm like out of breath. I'm like dying. It's been 20 minutes kicking this thing. And so the dude takes off. Then I finally got it. And I was so proud of myself. It was at 14. It was like the first time I was ever truly proud of myself. I was like, arms up, I'm doing the happy dance in the middle of the road. And then it almost died on me. So I had to run back to the throttle. I was like, oh. So I get her going again, go down the road, and I pick up my dad. I'm like, hey, mister, you need a ride? So my dad actually jumped on the back of the bike, which just thrilled me. I thought that was awesome. Then we got back down to the T in the road. I go to take the left-hand turn, and my dad doesn't think I'm gonna make it. So he reaches around me and hits my throttle hand, and I just gun it, and we go straight into a ditch, and the bike just starts swirling around, and Dad has to jump in and pull me out, and the thing is just going around and around and around on its own. And then Dad jumps in there and he gets under control and pops it back up, and there's no real damage, bent shifter rod, a couple missing pegs, but we got home, and my dad's like, baby, I'm so proud of you. And I was just like, oh, if I can drive that thing, I can drive anything, And so that gave me a lot of confidence. And I mean, I always knew motorcycles were going to be a part of my life for like ever. But after that, I was like,